I hope you're all doing good. Anyway, team, happy Friday. I can't believe it's bank holiday weekend again already. We've got quite a lot coming up in May, haven't we? I hope you've got some really nice things planned. So you may have seen on the email this morning, it's takeover time, but not only takeover time, it is time for the May Step Challenge. Will and I are going to be sitting down tonight and allocating teams for the May Step Challenge. So just make sure you've opted in before tonight. It's going to be brilliant. And I know a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, a couple of people are saying, oh, I don't know whether to sign up because I might end up holding my team back. No! Don't think like that. Just join in, because the purpose of it, 1, is to stay accountable, 2, to motivate one another, and 3, to get our steps up. You're going to do all of those things. There is no reason why anybody shouldn't sign up. I mean, what is the alternative? You feel like you missed out and then you should have done? So no. Get yourself signed up. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. And we're in it together. We're doing it as teams. So like I said, we'll be in touch tonight with all the team allocations. Also, tomorrow morning, we're sending all the orders off for the shop. So the shop is actually closing late tonight as well. Basically, before me and Will go to bed. So just make sure if there's anything you want, get it in as soon as, because we're sending off all the orders tomorrow morning and closing the shop down tonight. Right, I think it's time to get on the questions. But before I do, I've had quite a few questions about the London Marathon and my experience, how I found it, what the DOMs were like. So I thought I would just start with that and begin by saying thank you to you all for your support. And for everybody who donated, who sponsored, who came along to a fundraiser. We ended up making £2,381 for the Richard Whitehead Foundation, which is just incredible, isn't it? It's just phenomenal, insane. So it's a fantastic cause. If you don't know what they do, to cut a long story short, they mainly help disabled children get into sport, but they also help adults, and they also do lots of work with people from disadvantaged communities, minority communities, and all sorts. Rebecca, hola! So that was incredible. That was amazing, and I felt quite emotional about that. The experience of London Marathon itself was pretty crazy. When they say the crowds are wild, they really are. You got kids holding their hands out all the way around to give you high fives, signs that say, tap here to power up. Everyone is cheering and clapping on the way round. The marathon itself and London was so busy. So apparently they had 48,000 people taking part. And I can completely get that and understand. They had so many different starting areas. So not everyone started in the same area, and they set people off in different waves. So I was wave number 10 or something. I was wave number 10. It's just crazy, the amount of people there. So one thing I did find about the London Marathon is you spend a lot of your time trying to dodge and get around people and fit through gaps and things like that, because it is so busy, but the atmosphere is incredible. It was insane. And I did feel at points, particularly when you get into the end, quite overwhelmed by it all. You're seeing people running towards the end for various different charities, different causes. And there was this one guy in particular that I noticed on mile 25, and he had a picture of his kid on his back. Obviously the child didn't look very well, had tubes going into its nose and everything. And he was holding a little teddy bear, and you could see him really welling up. And then that made me wobble. And just going through the finish line, it's such elation. I wasn't going for a time. I was very strict with myself because I can be really quite competitive with myself. So I used to do park run every Saturday, and I actually had to stop because I was getting to a point where I was getting pretty decent. Like I was in running club at university. I was all right. I was good at it. And then some guys came up to me and said, we use you as our pacemaker every week, and one day it's our aim to beat you. And from that moment, It just wasn't an enjoyable experience for me anymore. I was thinking about Park Run on Tuesday when it was on Saturday. So I stopped going, which was actually a shame. And I was determined not to do that and not to let that competitive edge or the pressure stop me from doing the things I wanted to do. So I did the London Marathon without looking at my splits, without looking at my time. I didn't know what was going to happen. And it just so happens that I came in at 3 hours, 59 and 56 seconds. And when I came through with that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like under 4 hours, wow. And then I thought about it and I was like, I could have gone faster. I didn't put my all into that. And I was dodging people and I felt my leg go in the second half, which I did. I suffer with sciatica. I was like, I'm going to beat it. So I signed up for another one. But I'm not going to let it ruin the experience at the same time. Like if I don't end up beating it, it's fine. But I've got an aim and I'm determined not to let it ruin the experience. I'm learning along the way and hopefully inspiring you through challenging myself as well. And I think it's really important to have things to work towards and to challenge yourself. It gives you a focus, it gives you an aim, it keeps you on track, it keeps you motivated. And that's why I run so many challenges with the squad. But it's even better because we're doing it together. And I think that is key for long term as well, you know, being part of a supportive community and doing things together rather than on your own, which is really, really hard. It's so much nicer to do things together. So there you have it. There's my little, what do you call it? Two pence, that thing. And yeah, I'm doing another one in October. So, and you guys are doing the step challenge on Monday. Right, on with the questions. Question number 1. How do you gain strength without bulking? Now, bulking is actually pretty hard to do. Like some people spend years and years trying to bulk, or a year. You know, you see people working towards a photo shoot. They'll have like a big bulking phase where they'll just go for it, and then they'll have like a shredded phase before they do a bikini comp or something like that. Now, if you're going to bulk, you need to be in a calorie surplus, as in eating quite a lot more than your maintenance so that you actually grow muscle. And on top of that, you need to be doing, you know, heavy weights with like really heavy weight but lower repetition. With what we do, we're using lighter weights and high repetition. You know, there's a real cardio element to some of our classes, like stronger with a barbell with weights. There is a real cardio element to it. You're not going to bulk doing things like that. You're going to quote unquote tone. I am using inverted commas there because a lot of people don't like the word tone, but you know what I mean by it, getting that sculpted look. So building strength, so creating load without bulking. Now, you still want to work strength. So you want to be lifting a decent weight. You can be lifting heavy, just with, you know, more sort of higher rep range, I suppose. And whether you bulk or not, and effectively bulk, depends on how you're doing a progressive overload. So are you increasing that gradually, or are you overloading your muscles hard, giving them hard rest so they've got opportunity to grow? You know, what kind of calorie surplus are you in? It does, and it really depends on genetics as well, as to how easy or difficult you find that. So if you're wanting to build strength without bulking, lift heavy, but not massively heavy, you know, like meatheads in a gym. Make sure you're getting adequate rest so you can build your strength. And in terms of calories, not being in such a massive surplus. That is pretty much how you do it. And obviously making sure you're incorporating some cardio into your plan as well. It's not just really heavy weights. Now, I hope that's useful. It can be bulking can be quite a subjective term. So some people will take it one way or another, but I hope that is useful. Yes, Rebecca, I've just seen your comment. Walking 100 miles throughout May for cancer research. Well done. You've got this. And hey, that would be great for the May challenge with the squad as well. Loads of steps. Brilliant. And also another thing you can do as well, if you're looking to build strength but without bulking, focus on compound movements that work more than one muscle at a time. So things like squats and things like deadlifts. You know, you're not isolating just one muscle group. Okay, question number 2. I usually do about 10,000 steps a day, but these are either walking the dog or just generally getting around. I rarely feel sweaty when I'm getting my steps in. Is that okay, or should daily steps be more high energy? No, not necessarily. Like, steps are a really good measure of your activity level, and it's important to be active in general, whether that's walking the dog or just pottering around or whatever you're doing. 10,000 steps was actually from a marketing campaign. It was a Japanese marketing campaign. And it's been proven that anything above 7,500 steps a day on average is deemed good for your long-term health. You want to be getting at least that per day to be considered active and where it makes a positive difference to your long-term health and well-being. How you get those steps doesn't really matter too much. But one thing I would say is making sure you're getting the variety in. So if you're getting all of your exercise just from steps pottering around, that's not going to be as effective of, say, getting your steps in and then making sure that you're getting some cardio workouts in, you're getting strength workouts in. One caveat here to steps is, say if you're on a bike, you might be wearing like a watch or a step counter that doesn't count any steps while you're on a bike because you're not actually stepping, but it's still beneficial for your health. But in terms of steps as in active energy and not workouts, it doesn't matter where you're getting those from. But do make sure that you're getting your physical exercise in. The recommended amount from the government is 150 minutes of moderate exercise, and that includes brisk walking, gardening, cleaning, and also formal workouts that aren't as intense so you're not getting really breathless, or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise where you really are getting breathless. So you can use that as a bit of a gauge as well. Question number 3. The last few weeks I've only been having one rest day. Am I doing my body harm by not having more, especially at my age? It's recommended really to have at least 1 to 2 rest days a week. Don't matter what you're doing. Now, rest day doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to have to sit down and put my feet up all day. A rest day and a more productive rest day and a more beneficial rest day might be like, I'm just going to go on a really gentle walk. I'm going to do some gentle yoga, some stretches or whatever. So that is what we mean by a rest day. And it's really, really important to have rest days. It's important to increase your strength. It's important to avoid burnout. It's important to avoid injury. It's important for motivation. Strength, you can't get stronger and you can't see the benefits for your workouts if you're not allowing your muscles to repair themselves and allowing yourself to repair itself. It can be a good little break for the brain as well sometimes. So we don't want to be overtraining. If you think you might be on the verge of overtraining, ask yourself the following questions. Am I getting any annoying niggles that just aren't going away? Am I experiencing any pain? Am I absolutely dreading my workouts when I normally wouldn't? Am I getting cramping? Am I finding it really hard to sleep? Am I being really irritable? Am I finding my exercises a lot more difficult than I normally would? You know that yourself. If that is the case and you've been doing a lot, you could be getting into the realm of overtraining, which is what we don't want to do for all the reasons that I said before. So it is important to have rest days. Avoid injury, avoid burnout, avoid fatigue, and help your body repair and strengthen. But it really depends. It depends on how you feel, how intense have your workouts been this week. Sometimes the more intense they are, the more rest you need. And I found that definitely when I was marathon training, I had to be really careful with where I put my long runs, where I put my intense runs, what I was doing the days around it and what I was doing on the days off to make sure that my body had adequate rest to be able to get back on it again. So what's the duration of your workouts? What's the intensity like? How are you feeling in yourself? If you have one rest day a week and you feel absolutely fine, then that's fine. So just check in with yourself and see how you're feeling on that. I do hope that's useful, by the way. Let me know. And if anyone has any questions on anything I'm saying in the meantime, just pop in the comments or let me know. Or if you're watching this on replay, hashtag replay, ask me any questions there as well. Number 4, how can I strengthen my pelvic floor after having kids? There are 3 main things that you can do here to strengthen your pelvic floor after having kids. And if you find, by the way, if this is something that's really bothering you, that you are struggling with at the moment, I would definitely go and speak to somebody. So go and talk to your GP. But in terms of what you can do at home, you can do Kegel exercises, which is where you work your pelvic floor muscles. So if you imagine, you can try it now, and there is a little section on demand, by the way, in the miscellaneous on how to engage your pelvic floor. Imagine stopping yourself from going for a pee. And now imagine yourself stopping yourself from passing wind. Do both of those things at the same time and you will be engaging your pelvic floor. So that's a Kegel exercise, and you can do that. You can do repetitions, you can hold it, you can even do it at the traffic lights. When you sat down at work, no one's going to know. And you're working your pelvic floor muscles, which is an important part of your core. Another thing you can do is Pilates, because that really works to strengthen the muscles around the pelvic area and strengthen your core. And as I said, your pelvic floor is a really important part of your core. If you think about it, it's like the hammock at the base of your core that's essentially holding everything in. It's a really important muscle. It's a really important area. So Pilates is great for improving your core strength. And also, I'm going to say this wrong, I can't pronounce it properly, diaphragmatic breathing. Okay, using your diaphragm. And we do a lot of this in Pilates. So when you breathe using your diaphragm, and let's have a little practice. So if you put your thumbs on the back of your rib cage, your fingertips on the front, breathe into the back and sides of the ribs. Feel that lift, and then exhale, lifting the pelvic floor using that Kegel exercise, drawing the navel into spine. This is instead of chest breathing, which is what we do all the time. So quite often when you're stressed, you might feel like you're breathing from up here, your chest. You want to be using your whole core. And by using the diaphragm to breathe, you're also going to be using your pelvic floor because they work in tune with each other. So you do those 3 things, the Kegel exercises, Pilates, and practicing diaphragmatic breathing, which is what we also do in Pilates. So you can think of it as like your Pilates breath if you like. Try those things and keep doing it. Keep consistent. As with anything, if you do it a couple of times or you do it for a week, it's not going to be very effective. So just make sure you keep doing those and keep practicing. Come to Pilates on a regular basis, whether that's live or on demand. Number 5, fruit juices. Are they 30% or 70%? Different diets say different things. Do the vitamins outweigh the sugar? Okay, so I'm going to take this as in, is it 30% juice or 70% juice? You want to be aiming closer to 100. 100% juice is what you want. You don't really want to be going with anything that's like 30% because what else is in it? Maybe have a look at the packet and see, but close to 100% the better. And it is much better to focus on eating whole fruits rather than the juice because it contains the fiber, it's got the pulp, it's got the skin, so it's going to have more vitamin and nutrient content. And also it's more satiating, and that is because of the fiber and because you're actually eating something. And your body's having to break it down rather than drinking it in the form of the sugar that's already broken down. It's going straight into your body. There's no fiber benefit there at all. And you're not going to be getting as much of the vitamin and mineral benefit. Oh, have I just frozen? Have I just frozen? I don't know if I have. Maybe I have. No, I think it's okay. It froze on my screen. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But I do want to say you want to be having fruit juice in moderation, really. Maybe limit it to about a glass a day and really focus on having those whole fruits. There's like a delay on my on my Facebook, by the way. So when I'm talking, I'm literally watching myself from 30 seconds ago. It's hilarious. Number 6, DOMS. I'm still achy after combat, but I want to join today's musicals. Should I rest or should I do it? Or should I modify if it feels too much? It really depends. It depends, where are you feeling the aches? So for example, if you had extremely bad DOMs in your legs, I would not be telling you to go and do a leg strengthening workout. It would not be a great idea. DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness, and it is essentially tiny mini tears in your muscles. Your body needs time to repair this. So depending on how bad you're feeling the DOMS, depends on the intensity you put into your workout. So say if you wanted to come along to a dance aerobics and just maybe pull back a little bit, do it a bit lighter. So if you did a combat and you're really feeling it in your shoulders, but you're going to be doing a dance aerobics, you're not really going to be using your arms that much, or if you do, it's going to be really light, then that's fine. Come along, do it really low intensity. But if you feel you're like your legs are crying, your shoulders are crying, maybe just let your body have a bit of rest. It's about being kind to your body, and as we said previously, rest is important as well. Okay. Step count, does it matter? Because mine is usually rubbish. Step count does matter. It does matter for your long-term health and well-being. They say anything on average, anything under 5,000 steps a day on average is a sedentary lifestyle. And we know that having a sedentary lifestyle is linked to so many things like, heart disease, diabetes, so many horrible things that we don't even want to have to think about. Control the controllables, and let's try and get our step count up. 7,500 plus per day on average. So say if your step count's really low during the week because you have an office job, make sure you're making an effort to do workouts around your work hours. It might be as soon as you clock off, it might be fitting one at lunchtime, it might be before you go to work. And with online, you can do that easily. You can make it fit around your lifestyle. Or another way to do it is you can make up for it at the weekend. It's on average that is important. So what are you getting on average over the week? If you've got a sedentary job during the week, can you go on some nice long walks at the weekend? Or can you fit some in the morning or after work or whenever? So that's what you want to be aiming for on average. But if you are nowhere near that right now, there is no point in going from, say, 3,000 steps to 7,500 or 8,000. Like, that can feel pretty impossible. Just increase it by 20% and then do it again and then do it again until you're in a place, where is in that range. And as I said previously, you want to be thinking about your exercise minutes as well. Recommended 150 minutes a week, moderate exercise, 75 vigorous, either or, somewhere in between. Question number 8. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong again. Is kefir something I can interchange with Greek yogurt? Because it's live, I think it supports my gut health. Well, Greek yogurt and kefir, or however you say it, they both contain live cultures. So they are both live. What kefir is, sorry, I'm just laughing in case I got it wrong. I don't know. I said quinoa wrong for so long as well. I called it quinoa for way too long. They are, so kefir, I'm going to say that. It's a fermented and cultured milk drink. It's low in lactose and it's a probiotic, so it's good for your gut health. So it's meant to improve your gut health. The difference between Greek yogurt and kefir is they use different strains of bacteria for the live cultures, the fermentation. If you wanted to swap, say, Greek yogurt and have kefir instead, it might work for some things, say like smoothies or things where you don't need a thick consistency, but generally Greek yogurt is a thick and creamier consistency, so it depends what you mean by swapping it. If you're meaning like a like for like in terms of protein, Greek yogurt has a lot higher protein content, but then kefir is higher in probiotics, so it's better for your gut health. Not that Greek yogurt isn't, it's just higher in that. So it depends on what you're after, really. I know that's a bit of a wish-washy answer in a way, but it really depends what you're after. Are you swapping it to have it as an exact alternative for a different recipe, or is it because of the protein content, or are you looking more for gut health? So yeah, depends what you want out of it, really. Finally, For me, showering / hair washing is what gobbles the time rather than the workout itself. Is it okay to group my sweaty sessions together over 1 or 2 days a week, e.g. Monday and Thursday, or is it better to do little and often? It depends. It depends what you've got time for. The most important thing is you're getting it in throughout the week. So even if you end up being a weekend warrior because that's when you can fit your workouts in, then fine. Let's just make sure that on average over the week we are being active. We're getting in the minutes that we need to get in. It really depends on what you're going to be doing as well. So say if you thought, right, I'm going to go really hard on Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm going to go easy for the rest of the week. Well, Tuesday might not be as effective because if you had a really intense workout on Monday, your body might still be in a bit of a recovery mode. So therefore, Tuesday's workout isn't going to be as effective, and it might be better to go easier and then go harder later on in the week. If you're doing a split, say doing a hard workout on a Monday and a hard workout on a Thursday, I don't really see any problem with that at all. If you're wanting to break it up more over the week, that's also absolutely fine. The most important thing is you're making it fit around your schedule and you're fitting the workouts in where you can do that. That's first and foremost. And then just being mindful of the type of exercise you're doing and what you're doing the day after. You want to be helping your body and getting the most out of your workouts that you do as well. So just about being mindful of that and planning your week ahead. Oh, Lisa, I just saw your comment. You're okay. It must have just frozen my end then. Anyway, team, I really hope that was useful. I hope you've enjoyed that Q&A. I absolutely love doing these. So like I said at the very, very start, make sure you're in for the May challenge. You'll hear from me and Will tonight. We're going to be allocating the teams. And I wish you all a fabulous bank holiday weekend. And I'll see you in class later. We've got Zumba at 5, and then we've got Booty Band at 5:20. So that's going to be a good one. I'll see you there, gang. Bye. Have a great day.